Hi, I'm Ben. Today I'm going to give you tips and tricks to get perfect results when spraying interior walls. It doesn't matter if you brush, roll or spray. You've got to mask or cover up before you can start painting. Proper masking is essential, as it will save you a lot of work afterwards. Take a look at the tips and tricks film, Proper Masking. When spraying wall paints, you use this spray attachment. The symbol on the spray attachment indicates the application it's designed for. The war symbol on the front means it's for interior wall paints. WAGNER sprayers are suitable for all types of emulsion paint. You don't need to find anything specifically for spraying. When you're working with paint, you should always make sure it's at least at room temperature. Warm paint is easier for the machine to atomize and will give you better results. Before you start spraying, you should align the suction tube. Point it towards the rear for spraying above you, and point it forwards for spraying in front or below you. For walls, I recommend pointing the suction tube towards the front. This means you'll get every last drop of paint and have to refill less often. If your paint has been used before, that's fine. Just make sure to mix it thoroughly. In addition, you can also filter the paint to ensure that the nozzle is not clogged with paint particles. The product comes with a pair of filling funnels. These make it much easier to load your paint cleanly. I recommend folding it in both directions to make sure it sits securely. Every paint has a different consistency. This is called viscosity. Before spraying, you want to make sure the paint flows smoothly off the stirrer without dripping. If you're not getting a nice smooth flow, then dilute by 10% and try again until you're happy. Now, let's say we haven't diluted the paint and see what that looks like. Many paints work without dilution, but here I would dilute a little more so that the spray pattern is finer. To do this, I use the stirrer that comes in the box. It has a number of small notches. Each one represents 10%. Let's do another spray test and see how it looks. There are other ways to adjust the spray pattern besides dilution. One of them is the amount of air. The more viscous the paint, that means thicker, the more air is needed to atomize the paint, which is why wall paints need level 6 or higher. The symbols show you the correct setting. This time I'll spray the wall and increase the amount of air as I go to show how the spray pattern changes. The amount of material, how much paint comes out of the nozzle, also has an influence on the spray pattern. The optimal amount of material depends primarily on the working speed. I recommend that you set a low amount of material, especially in the beginning. As soon as you're more experienced and can work faster, you can increase the amount of material. To do this, simply adjust the wheel to a higher level. You can set the wall paint attachment to spray either vertically or horizontally. And you can set it from wide to narrow. It's important to make sure you test your spray pattern before you begin. We've included this useful test poster to practice on, or you can use a few pieces of scrap cardboard. Now it's time to paint the walls. One of my favourite things about spraying is that you can get right into corners and edges. No more tedious cutting in. When you're spraying, there are a few things you should keep in mind. Start moving first, then pull the trigger. Don't pause while still spraying. Keep a distance of 20 to 30 centimeters and always hold the sprayer at a right angle to the object. For complete paint coverage, it is a good idea to overlap your passes by about 30%. For highly absorbent or textured surfaces, such as textured plasters, we recommend using the cross-coat technique. Spray once up and down, and then immediately do a second coat going left to right. If you only notice after you've finished spraying that you haven't applied enough paint, no problem. Just spray over it again and you're done. There's a chance that you might apply too much paint to one spot. That's no problem. Just wipe it away with a cloth, spray a thin layer over to conceal the mark, and you're done. Keep a damp cloth handy and wipe the tip of the nozzle regularly to avoid paint drying. If you stop spraying, you should always check afterwards where the paint has dried on the nozzle. You can easily scrape off the dried paint with the yellow stir stick that comes with the product. Make sure that the air holes around the nozzle remain completely clear. If you're going to take a longer break, for example overnight, then I recommend depressurizing the container. To do this, simply unscrew the container briefly and then tighten it back up. Otherwise, paint could drip out of the nozzle. Now you've got all the tips and tricks that you need, good luck with your spray painting. I'm off to my next project.